budget that they will be providing for a grant to the town for this particular study. So we did receive that news that in general they are setting aside money for this grant for the town. So that's really good news in terms of a response to applications. There are other ones that were turned down, so again, this is a step forward in terms of what we're looking for. They did mention a couple of questions or concerns in terms of what they'd like to see as responses from the town. So what Sandy passed on to me was a draft resolution. They did have particular concerns in terms of how this study fits in within the new visions, planning principles. This is basically the regional view that the MPO, which consists of county, state, CTC staff, private entities, has really embraced and adopted for many years now in terms of compact centers, strong access management, providing for all modes of transportation. Pretty much any grant that is being given out for transportation in this day and age is really reflecting those core principles. So one of the things that I quickly printed out, and I really shouldn't going to be here, so I made copies so you can all take a look in terms of what they're really expecting this study to embody in terms of the principles they're looking for. So that was a question. They did question the local support for the planning study. So you'll read in the resolution there's language that really speaks specifically to, is the town willing to support this local planning study? So there was really the sense of getting a sense from the board in terms of whether this would be something the board's interested in following through with as a study, as well as items that may be explored and recommended coming out of that study. So you'll see language about 6 items down that talk specifically about that. They also had questions in regards to how the county's involvement would follow through. So this is, as we know, Ballard Road is a county road. So the whole integration of the county, and again, any study recommendations and how that's carried forward is also a question they had, how that would really follow through. So that's another item I think they're really looking for some response in terms of information. But with that in mind, again, just to touch on the basics, it's all here, but the study overall is a $40,000 initiative. Of that, there was a required match of 20%. To make our application more competitive, I think we ended up with a 22% match. So the local match, which again is prioritized in our traffic study, so those funds can be drawn from mitigation fees, is a $13,500 match. Again, I would stress, just to the point, they just went through a TIP update. They're looking out to the outer years in terms of where federal funds are going. I would say probably 95% of the projects that were approved and are looking to move forward in terms of funding went through a linkage study process or similar process and went on to specific elements that were provided for and proposed for funding. So again, I think that holds true, that this is a first step for any transportation or federal state dollars, the private side as well, to really begin bringing that forward.